ಮರದ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಕೂತಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಅವ್ರ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಬಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಥಾಟ್, ಅದು ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಿತ್ತು, ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ? ನಾವು ನೀವಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೀಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. So he was so humorous in his teaching that I still remember his classes so vividly. Okay, so that is what is critical thinking, possibly being skeptical, questioning things, not taking at face value, viveka shakti, analyzing things that we unknowingly develop such skills when we are involved in research. The second one is decision making. When you are working, for example, in a work environment, if you have a research background, I've seen that it helps you in decision making, because the more number of failures or mistakes you make, the better decisions you can make, in my view. Okay? You need to make a lot of mistakes so that you can arrive at good decisions. Why? Because you know what does not work. Okay? So if you know what does not work, it is easy for you to take decisions. But if you don't know what works, what does not work, then it becomes a little tricky. And the last one is problem solving. So what is the problem around us? It doesn't have to be very huge, big problems. We always think that problems are very big. Not like that. Even day-to-day issues, something that you can have in Kumta, increasing the shelf life of a local product, for example, okay, and bringing our commodities to the forefront, our forest resources, small things goes a big way. So problem solving also comes because of this research background, in my view. So that was what was research. I want to talk about the second part, is why research. Because yesterday in his address, I think Aiken Naik sir also asked, is it really necessary? Is research really necessary? Because some of you as students may be wondering, we are all giving speeches, but what if I'm not really inclined to research? Why should I do research? Okay? And for this, I would like to borrow an illustration from Dr. Matt Might, okay, from University of Utah. And this illustration is very simple, and it explains, hopefully it explains why research is important. So imagine this circle, it's already there. So imagine this circle contains all the knowledge of this world, okay? So this circle here contains all the knowledge that is known to mankind. So what happens is, when we do our primary schooling, we understand a bit of it, right? We get to know some things about everything, every little things in our primary education. And then we move on to our secondary education. You call it high school. So you know a little better of many things, okay? But we don't know as much. There's a lot to explore, but we know a little bit in our primary and our secondary education. Now at the degree level, which most of you are who are in the audience, we do a graduation. Of course, that knowledge increases to further extent, but you derive some kind of a specialty. Okay? It could be you're majoring in physics or biology or arts or commerce or economics or whatever. So in one field, you gain certain amount of specialty, okay? And then when you do your masters, if at all you do your masters level, you see that specialty increases in one direction, right? So you know a lot maybe about physics, not as much as about economics, okay? So in one direction that is increasing. But if you are an art student, you could be having more knowledge about political science. Maybe you're doing research in that area. Or you could be doing something in engineering in that area. So the specificity, the specialty goes on increasing, right? And then when you want to do a PhD, which is a doctor of philosophy as they call, you do that in any field, they still call it doctor of philosophy, be it science, engineering, arts, whatever. So you do a lot of reading for that, a lot of extensive review of literature, which takes you, which is expected to take you to the boundary of that knowledge. Okay? So from here, from the center point to the circumference, in one direction, when you do that lot of reading, you've touched upon the boundary. That is all that is known to humanity. Okay? And now we need to understand what are you doing research about is something which the world does not know. Okay? That is your contribution. That is your contribution through research into the world. So you do a work for a few years and then it gives way. Okay? And then you expand that boundary. Boundary of what? Boundary of human knowledge. I hope you are getting it, right? So you just expanded the boundary of human knowledge in one field. It might look very small. It might look very small, but if you look at the bigger picture, that is your own original contribution to knowledge of this entire planet. How? Maybe by the communications you make, maybe by a product you develop, okay? Maybe by a publication you write, which people will refer to even after we are gone from this world, okay? So that is something we contribute to the world to refer even after we are not around, okay? So that increases the world knowledge, okay? So if that was the boundary of knowledge, then your contribution is that tiny bit of new knowledge that you have brought into this world. And what better way to start during your undergrad degree itself, okay? So that it saves you a lot of time. Because when I went to Brunei, from my experience, I saw that the ecosystems are similar, right? Forests and coastal and everything. So I was thinking, if I had done some research on my own forests while I was doing my undergrad or, PUC, whatever, because we are living in that rich biodiversity hotspot here, Sahyadris and Western Ghats, I didn't do any research when I was in my undergraduate. Okay? Now I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to explore similar things. But I was thinking if I had done previous research into these products, it would save me so much of time, right? And now I have to spend time researching, which I have not done before. So I'm telling you people, you have a lot of resources, you have forests, you have so many things. So don't waste any time to explore and you be happy to fail, okay? So it's not an easy journey when you are involved in research. There will be a lot of hurdles that will stop you from reaching to your destination, whatever it is. But it's quite fun. I think also Dr. Yuri suggested yesterday that you should not shy away from making mistakes and, we should not be afraid to fail. Okay? There is this quote from Edison which says, I have not failed. I've found 1,000 ways that won't work. Okay? So when you don't achieve what you want to, it does not mean that you have failed. You're just telling the world, don't do this. It will not work. So the thing I told earlier about decision making, when you fail a lot of times, your decision making will improve because you know what does not work. And that is very important. And adding on to this, I think, your college environment, college-alli iddiralla, it is a very safe environment for you to fail. Okay, because stakes are not so high. Tomorrow, if you have your own company, you become an entrepreneur, you make a product, then you fail, the stakes are high. Because ನೀವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. You would have invested a lot of money, invested a lot of resources, then you don't want to take chance. ಈಗ degree ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ you have lot of resources and if you fail, it's okay, right? It's a safe environment, so don't shy away. You should be very happy to do as much research as possible. Now coming to the last part, ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ. what is research, why we should do research. I hope you appreciate why we should do research. Now, how? What is the action plan? How should I do research? How should I go about it? So for this, in my opinion, it's not a very tangible solution someone can give. Okay? It is more of a soft skill based concept. So for me, establishing a culture, a research culture is more important than any strategy. Because culture is sustainable, it is very long term. We tend to follow what our seniors do as juniors when we come into the college, right? We tend to see our teachers, tend to see our seniors, what they have done, and we try to emulate what they have done. So it's a very long term thing, okay? And it has to be very sustainable. So, in my view, building that culture in your institution is important. And we had a lot of acronyms today, and I also have some for you to remember. Yeah, this is a good quote I came across by Peter Drucker. He says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. ನೀವೇನೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಟಜೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಏನೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಡಿ, ಅದು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಸಸ್ಟೈನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಏನೇ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಆಫ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಬಟ್ will it work the next semester? So when policymakers, when educators think about this, they should think very long term. Will this be sustainable? So building that culture, a research culture, we don't have to worry much, it will just self-sustain. Okay? So the 5 C's, we had bath and so many things. I'm also giving 5 C's for you for that culture. The first one is curiosity, having a spirit of inquiry, spirit of curiosity, which I did not necessarily have when I was in the undergrad. Because I was also like you, studying from an exam point of view. Examic barala andre, why should we invest time? Okay? Because the system is like that, you know. People tell us you be, you know, innovative, you be thinking, you have to think a lot, but ultimately, if your marks are determining what kind of jobs you get, okay, what is the cutoff for higher degree, we have to focus on marks as student. I understand that because I've gone through that as well. Ultimately, you have to bring food on the table, right? And we need to get a job. We need money. Money is important, whatever people tell. We need resources. So, somewhere down the line, we stop being curious, okay? So don't do that mistake of not thinking. Whatever it is, be very curious, inculcate that spirit of curiosity, inquiry in you. The second one is courage. I think this should have gone first. Most of us don't come forward, and most ignored concept, okay? I think it is because of courage of you, your team, Ike Naik sir and team, to put up this conference. Something such big has happened. The caliber of this conference, the kind of talks that we have listened to is not less than any other international conference. And that is because of a bold step that you have taken, which is the first step in the right direction, in my view, right? So courage is very, very important. To tell you from my story, I was working on these halophilic microbes, the salt-tolerant bacteria I told you. So I understood that there is a conference in Beijing, in China, when I was doing my PhD. So I wanted to go there desperately, but I don't know the language. I never had boarded a flight before, okay? And because here we don't need to board flights, right? We take road transport much better. I never had boarded a flight. No money. I mean, of course, I was teaching and learning simultaneously. I didn't want to depend on my parents, but you don't have enough money to sponsor a travel and everything. So you need to be very, very informed. You do a lot of curious questioning, okay? So what I did is I applied for a loan, and then I applied to a Department of Biotechnology for a travel allowance. I wrote to them that I'm going to this conference. And I made up my mind. It's good to have supportive parents and everyone who can, okay, you go. I don't know what you're doing. My dad said, I don't know what you're doing, but you go because I'll support you. So I went to Beijing, and there was this Halophiles conference, young student, and there was this scientist who had discovered the molecule that I was working on. Okay, so this bacteria is growing in salt concentration. How does it grow? Because it produces some osmolyte. Because now enadru ignam hands, if you put it in salt water, what happens? It shrinks, right? Because water flows out of it. It's not easy to survive in salt. So these bacteria produce certain molecules which are very important in maintaining that equilibrium. So Professor Galinsky had discovered ectoin that helps bacteria survive in salt. And he was right there. And I had come all the way to meet him. But I did not have the courage. The conference was of 4 to 5 days. And I thought my contribution is very less. I'm just, a student. How can I speak to this person? So till the last day, I did not approach him. I tried, but I did not talk to the professor. Last day, I packed my bags and I stood. I have to go back to the airport. That is when that thought came to me. It was like a movie where they do proposals and all, but here I'm talking to a scientist to help me out, okay? So I was thinking, if you don't ask, you don't get. Okay? You may ask and you don't get, it's fine. You know what not to do next, right? But if you don't ask, you take this question of philosophy, whatever, wherever you go, okay? You don't ask, you don't get. It is as simple as that. Okay? So last chance, I thought I have to rush. I have called my taxi, but I went to this professor and I don't know what I told because I was very nervous. But I told him, sir, I come from India. I have read all your papers and I really like your research and so on, blah, blah. He was a very kind person, very nice human being, very elderly person. He said, come, sit, let's discuss. I said, no, sir, I have to rush to the airport. I have my taxi outside. I thought I'll just, I said, it's okay. You just send me all your proposals and then I will go through it one by one and let's discuss. I felt on top of the world, I felt very good. But that was that thing, that courage, you need to go and speak up. People are generally kind. People generally help. But we don't make an effort. I've seen me and my friend circle. We don't make an effort to go and speak. Okay? So after that, I sent him all my proposals. He edited. I got a DART fellowship to go to Germany, which is because I spoke. I made that, that mustered that courage to go and speak to him. So this conference, what you have put up is because of that courage, which will lead to a very nice culture in future, is my wish. Collaboration. Resources illa, equipment illa, expertise illa. What to do? Collaborate. Always. Okay? Build communities. Community is always stronger than in any individual. It is never about an individual, you or me. It is always about collaboration when it comes to research. You go to now I'm in Brunei, I've traveled a bit across the globe, and I realized that everywhere people have these issues. We say that we don't have equipment. People don't have equipment in overseas labs also. They outsource, they collaborate, they join hands with other people, they do teamwork. Okay? So building collaborations in India, we have fantastic institutes, we have government institutes, we have research institutes, we have so many laboratories which we try to collaborate with. So write to professors, write to research scientists, make a team, and then call in experts, make a team of your own and collaborate, build communities, and that is how you can succeed. Collaboration is extremely important. Communication. At undergraduate level, we should be able to understand the importance of communication. It is not enough if we make research. One of my professors always told me, in India, we people work very hard, okay? We do a lot of experiments in the lab and we do a lot of things, but when it comes to showcasing or when it comes to presenting, we fall short of it, okay? And in overseas labs, I don't want to generalize, but people do research, but they also know how to crystallize that message, that information, what is necessary, what is not. Okay, ಏನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಏನು ಹೇಳಬಾರ್ದು, what is the conclusion, what is, future prospects. So they know how to crystallize the message. And this art, if you learn in your undergrad level, it will save you a lot of time and it will be extremely useful to you. So have presentation sessions within your own classrooms where you can present papers, present a research output. Communication is very important, be it a written communication or be it an oral communication. So we need to learn that, okay? And contribution. The last one is contribution. All C's. Research is not about an individual. It is about what we contribute to the world, okay? Remember that Dr. Matt Witt's circle that I showed you? Your original contribution increases the boundary of knowledge, the world knowledge. It can be a tiny bit, but it increases that boundary. That is your contribution. That is what people will remember you for after, we don't have to leave so early, whenever, okay, people will credit you for, right? So it is always about what product you made, what paper you wrote, what communication, what you're telling the world not to do, what decisions you helped take, how good a team player you were. So all that comes as a contribution. So all these things, curiosity, courage, collaboration, communication, contribution, in my view, helps us build a good research culture. Now, towards the ending, I would like to talk about the curriculum that we have. Okay, the curriculum in University Brunei, Darussalam, and you can judge for yourself how it is different or similar, okay? And what we do in our undergrad curriculum, so that might give you an idea. So we follow the Gen X curriculum. It's called a Gen X curriculum. It is transdisciplinary, okay? If you're majoring in some area, it is only about 50 to 60% of that, and students have the liberty to take subjects from other streams as well, okay? So there is no hard differentiation between science and arts or economics like that. So they have a discovery year in the 3rd year. I'll tell you what it is. And in the 4th year, they do a final year project, which is spread across 2 semesters. And it is more student-centric and technology-oriented. I don't want to tell that this is the best one, okay? This is one of the strategies followed in a curriculum, and you can, teachers, perhaps you can evaluate how it best suits. So this is a typical timetable of how they do in 4 years of study. They have 1st year, 2nd year, 3rd year, and 4th year. So in the 1st year, you see, they take 2 major courses, 2 breadth modules. So if you are from science background and if you are majoring in biology, so you can take biology modules and you can take 50% maybe arts or business or language. Some are compulsory breadth, like compulsory English language, compulsory Brunei culture, 4 modules like that. But you are free to choose any other module, okay? So this is really, really flexible system which helps the student to make a choice, because some of you are interested in business, right? Some of you may be interested in something else. So it helps you make a trajectory of your own. Same in 2nd year, you see, they take major modules, but there is still breadth module that they can choose out of faculty. In the 3rd year, they have something called the discovery year, where students are not in the class. Okay, they go out. So if you have a high CGPA, you are sponsored for an education overseas study abroad program, or you do internships in other institutes. So the burden is not on the faculty to train the students. They get attached to different labs like research institutes or hospitals or any other institutes where those research persons will help train the students in the practicals there, okay? So that's a very nice initiative. They also have an incubation project. They also have community outreach programs. So if, for example, you're given time to interact with community, we have a lot of good experts here. We have Padma Shris, right? Like Madam Tulsi Gowda and all, who know the traditional medicine and everything so really well. But it's unfortunate that we don't interact with them. We don't understand, we don't, interact with these people to gain that knowledge. So people are given an option to go and, reach out to the community and learn from them. So they do it for an entire year, over 2 semesters. And every semester, they are graded for their presentation. They have to present, and they also have to submit a report each semester. So that gives them an out of classroom experience, which is very good in my opinion. And in the 4th year, they do final year project. Here you see 8 MC credit. Final year project, which is over 2 semesters. So in the first semester, they do a lot of reading and writing proposal. And in the second semester, of course, the project execution, data analysis and everything. And whoever is the supervisor, we can only evaluate the student for 10% marks only. If I am the supervisor, I can only give 10% marks. The remaining 90% mark is coming from the examiners, which is divided as 30% for proposal, 40% for your manuscript-based thesis, which is written in a manuscript format, and 20% comes from the presentations. Okay, so the supervisor only has 10% mark to give. So students have a lot of scope to present, to do research, to get involved in community, to undergo training from different institutes, from research labs. So that will be very helpful to the students. So this is the curriculum we follow there. And lastly, for my student friends here, so I want to give you some resources, links. I think you already are aware, students are much smarter than we think they are, because they are in today's world. But somewhere earlier I heard that, we get distracted by watching YouTube and other videos and other things, but I wouldn't call it as a distraction. We can't help it. We also watch YouTube, right? Sometimes as a teacher, when I watch videos of science, I understand more, it gives more clarity. So it is just about channelizing how you invest your time in technology. You want it or not, it is inevitable. Technology is there. We have to use handphones. It's a good thing. So why not put it to a better use? While we are having, Twitter and IG and Facebook and all, we can also install apps like indiascience.in. Okay, it comes as an application on your mobile phone. It is also having a website. And I can't scroll through because this is just a screenshot. And here you have a lot of projects explained. The sir was asking some time ago, how do you get ideas to do simple projects? Okay, from this website you can get a lot of ideas, like how to do a fertilizer from waste, and they have explained a lot of concepts. They have lectures from eminent professors. They have various categories of information. So make a note of this, indiascience.in. I find it really useful, this website, so that you can download it on your phone. And while you are watching your IG or whatever, you can also check this app to get some good insights into science. You must be already knowing this one, Swayam portal. Okay, Swayam, you have millions of free lectures on all subjects by eminent professors from IITs and IIScs and all, Indian institutes. Okay, it is for free. You only have to register and become a student, and you can take online courses in any area. And NPTEL, they release new courses every semester. So I encourage you to register on this link, swayam.gov.in. And then there is no limit to the amount of knowledge and information you can have. You can learn from all these online courses. And then if you are interested in research, we have this Shodh Ganga portal from Government of India. It gives a lot of projects, thesis, a lot of theses from Indian students, Indian scholars from different institutes, and also a repository of experts in various fields. Okay, Shodh Sindhu, if you want to refer to some experts in the field whom you want to do internship with. So you can go and find this link. And there is with one, I've listed a lot here, MHRD from Ministry of Human Resource Development. There is a lot of portals that you can register to as a student, and you have a lot of access and information for free available here. So when you're using mobile phones, when you're using technology, you can make the most of it using these links. Also, Department of Science and Technology for various fundings that you can get as a student. This is for technical studies. I don't know if it will be related to you, but you know, youth at work, you can test your skills, how much skill sets you have, and different resources. You can experiment, you can test your own skill sets on these links provided. Do you watch TV shows? We all like to watch TV shows. So if you watch TV shows, I would also recommend you to watch Shark Tank India. Has anyone watched it here? Yes, I'm happy to see some hands. Very nice show because it helps us understand how to make a product, right? And if what fails, what doesn't, what is the market research, what is the economics, what is the business, so it gives you an idea in the long run what you can aim to become an entrepreneur, for example. So that was it in my talk. To summarize, we talked about what is research, why research is important, and what can we do to inculcate a culture of research in the undergraduate level. So 5 C's as a summary. So I would like to end with this quote. People see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not. It's by George Bernard Shaw. I would be happy to stay in touch and collaborate with you all. You can reach out to me, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your presentation on strategies to foster research culture in undergraduate education. Now the session is open for question and answer session.